right now. I need more haters. Yo. What the fuck is going on? You amazing motherfuckers. And we are in a China shop back again. You want to advertise for someone? Advertise my shit. Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. What the fuck is the link? Stop taking fucking pictures. Look the puppet. We're gonna be hosted by yours truly, Todd Lowe.
Yo, you beautiful motherfuckers. It is episode 43 of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast, the first and the only podcast dedicated to the bull breeds and the American bully lifestyle. Today, I have a little bit of a quote-unquote celebrity guest today. We have former NFL Pro Bowler and current NFL free agent Mike Griffin from Austin, Texas. On it athlete, has been into bull breeds, multiple different bull breeds since he was 18 years old. Thanks for being on the show, Mike. I know your time is probably very pinched all the time. It's probably not something you get a lot of, so I appreciate you taking an hour to spend with me.
No problem.
So as I mentioned, you've been into bull breeds since you were 18 years old. That's correct. If I'm not mistaken, you're 32 now, so that's 14 years in bull breed. What was your first bull breed? What was the first dog that you owned?
I got a blue pit bull. I bought him locally in Austin. He's still alive. His name is Shaq. I bought him, and there was another female I bought named Honey. She was a blue female. She passed away about 2-3 years ago from skin cancer. But I still got Shaq. He actually stays at my parents' house. He's living the life right now. I mean, I've had him forever, and then from there I've been. I don't know how many dogs I can tell you I actually own. I know at least been about 40, 50, maybe even 60 dogs over my 14 years.
Now, that's not just 14 years owning, right? That's 14 years. You've been breeding as well.
Breeding, selling, showing, you name it. I've done it since I was 18 years old. I mean, from being a college athlete in the summer times when we had our little off-season programs, every weekend I was on the road going to shows by myself or with other people, but I was always on the road.
I think the first memory I have of seeing you as far as with dogs is on the cover of Atomic Dog.
Yeah, that might have been my third year in the league. So that was after I was already around for like 7 years already.
Right. That was with Blade.
That was with Blade. I purchased Blade from his owner, Brian. Brian passed away, and I made a deal with his sister and his brother-in-law. I paid for the funeral. They let me have Blade, and I paid $5,000 for his funeral, and I ended up getting Blade, and he passed away probably about 4 years ago now. But when I bought him, he was roughly around 3 or 4 years old when I purchased him.
Right. So, wow, that's an interesting story. So you ended up getting Blade. It wasn't like a purchase that you made. It was.
No, it was a. So I mean, the story went down. I got to Tennessee. I had a guy named Stacy and Brian. Both of them contacted me, and they asked me to come down. It was about 100 miles outside of Nashville. They said, "I promise you, if you come down there, you won't be disappointed. If you could come down here, I want you to take a look at this dog." So I drove down there. They had a litter of puppies. I remember seeing Blade in a 10 by 10 kennel in the middle of nowhere in the country. I asked Brian, how much would you sell him for? Because he's not for sale. But Blade was the littermate brother to Easy Rider, littermate brother to Wild Bill, littermate brother to Devious, and
Legendary litter, and as far as American,
it was off of X and Bonnie. It was the first.
Right.
It was the first breeding ever between X and Bonnie. It
right.
was off that litter.
And as far as American bullies go, that's, I mean, in my opinion, Blade is also a legend in his own right. You know, come off a legendary litter full of dogs that had, to this day, still have legacies. You know, and Blade does as well.
A lot of people don't even know who that stuff like that is. So it's, you see these names that I see constantly at these dog shows now, and people like, do you know this dog? You know this dog? And I'm just like, nah, not at all. And these are dogs that, these were dogs that were shows of themselves. They weren't show dogs. These were dogs that, people came to shows to see. People came to shows to see Easy Rider. People came to shows to see Devious. People came to shows to see Blade or Wild Bill, those dogs. I mean, you see the owners of these dogs outside of Oscar, who's still doing his thing out there in California. I mean, Clint, who was the owner of Wild Bill, Frank, who was the owner of X and Bonnie. These guys are not around these shows no more.
Right.
They're in the other breeds.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's just a happenstance, or do you think there's a reason behind that?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Because, I mean, it could be different scenarios. I mean, I know for myself alone. I mean, once I got older and I started having kids, and as my kids are getting older, that takes a lot of time away from going to shows. And, back in the day, there wasn't a show every weekend. And now there's shows every single weekend. So you have so many, when you look at the ABKC, there's so many champions, so many grand champions. I mean, you can be grand champ or champed out in one show. And depending on how many dogs you have at that show, it's an easy walk in the park. And now everybody wants to hold that title of a champion or a grand champion because there's a show every weekend. I remember when, there was a 20th anniversary Razor Edge show, when there was the Bully-Palooza in Atlanta. There was always a huge show in Houston. I even threw a show in Houston one time. It cost me like 30, 40 grand. To hold it downtown Reliant Stadium, downtown in Reliant, and then I did the George R. Brown. So I did 2 shows there. But I just remember back in the day, there was always like that big show everybody wanted to go to. But now there's so many shows.
Right.
I think it's just, if you're really into the dog community, it's hard to keep up with every weekend traveling to a show. I mean, I remember going to shows, and it was just the kind of like you go to an ABR show, when you go to these other registries, the exotic shows, how there's just so many people there. When George gets the table out and puts all the Miyagi, Offspring, and everything else, that's how the ABKC shows used to be. They're not like that no more.
Yeah, because I think the frequency of shows, the volume of shows has a lot to do with it. If now between, I mean, any one of the alphabet, I just call it the alphabet registries. I mean, any one of the alphabet registries, any given weekend is having a show somewhere. And, most of the time there's multiple shows going on every weekend between registries, different regions of the country, and different, international shows. So I think the volume, the frequency of the shows definitely has something to do with it, because back then, even when I came in 2009, 2010, the shows still weren't every weekend. You still had to pick and choose the shows that you were going to.
And it was always a show that was like, you knew you had, like, I remember flying in to Atlanta just to go. I mean, people driving to Atlanta to go to the Bully-Palooza when Chaz used to go to that show every year. I remember when Byron and myself and all, you had that show in Houston where everybody was excited to come down to Houston and have a great time. There was a show, there was a pre-party at a club. There was a show that lasted like pretty much all day. And then there was an after party that everybody went to. It's not like that no more. It's you come in on a Friday, stay the night, go to the show to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the next day, you know, you may go get some dinner if you stay at the show late, and then you leave. Like, the community's not like that anymore. I remember back in the day, it was in the hotel alone that Friday night. You had dogs like Hef, Lil Roe, all these dogs in the hotel that people were sitting at the hotel parking lot with their cars on, drinking, eating, having a great time, just talking dogs. It's not like that no more. It's like you go to a show now, I get there, and once I walk around one time, it's like, all right, I'm ready to go. It's not like it used to be. It's just not. It's like you said, the volume of shows every week, you have to make a decision. What do I want to go here? Do I want to go there? Or I can just wait till next week. If I'm really trying to show my dog and try to get that title, I can just wait till next week because there's a 4 show next week or there's a 5 show next week or whatever. You just pick and choose.
Right, and without this is something that Bully the Kid and I talk about all the time. Without celebrity dogs, without dogs that people are going to drive somewhere to see, I guess, or I should say, if it's a weekend where you're picking and choosing, the show that's bringing in those celebrity dogs, that's where people are going to go. Like if comes down to be a decision, that's going to sway people to go that way or the other. I think more than even distance.
I believe that too, but at the same time, you also got people that are chasing titles and scared of competition. So
for sure.
If I know this dog is there, I'm about to go here.
For sure, that happens.
So it's so you see what I'm saying? Like if I know I'm about to go see, but like I said, this day and age now, it's like who's the celebrity dogs?
Well, I think
I know
people come out to see Maestro for sure.
Oh, definitely. But see, like
people come out to see Rocco, I think.
Yeah, now, but that's the difference though, because these dogs are shows outside of a show. You got show dogs, and then you got a dog that's a show outside of the show. A dog that everybody wants to sit there and you can put on the platform and go see. Back when you had Thing, back when you had Samson, back when you had Rizzy, those dogs weren't show dogs. They was a show of themselves. People would sit there and talk to the owners for hours.
Right.
And trying to figure out how to breed and how to create and what the dog was off of and et cetera. It's not like that no more. Now you got dogs like the so-called celebrity dogs is this dog got so many best in breeds and so many best in shows, and it's just like, but then it just not. I'm like, that's cool. But if you're not into showing dog, you just want a nice ass dog that I want people to walk by the house and look at my dog and like, damn, that's a badass dog. That's the dogs that get the people to come to shows, because everybody don't come to show to watch the shows.
For sure.
People come to shows to see dogs, to see what they're interested in breeding their dogs too. And if all I'm gonna do is look in the show ring and realize that I got my dog in the show ring too, he gets second, third, first place ribbons, I feel like I'm on the right track. Well, you go to these other ABR shows, these dogs ain't show dogs, but they still got dogs of themselves at the shows.
Right. No doubt about it. And I think, about the ABR shows and stuff, I think a lot of those people are going to see what kind of mess they're going to bring out next, you know. But I think there's very few and far between.
It brings the people out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And for me, when it comes to exotics or whatever, to me, it's each their own. If you're gonna spend your money on it, if that's what you want, then that's what you want to do. That's on you.
I think a lot of those guys are bringing it back, I think a lot of those, especially the main breeders with exotics, kind of got a little too far from what they originally wanted to do, and they're kind of bringing it back a little bit now to a little more functional dog and a little more, tighter skin and tighter joints and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it the next few years.
I mean, to me, it has to go back. There's only so far you can go.
Yeah, I mean, they got dogs with no hips and bad hearts, and you got to come back a little bit.
It's back in the day when they had these little small little teacup American bullies, and they were like, "Oh, pocket, how short can you get?" And then eventually it was like, "All right, we got to bring them back up. We got to bring the dogs back up."
Yeah,
they get into it.
Got too small and lost all the mass, and people were like, "This ain't even impressive anymore."
Yeah, now I got it. So everything has to come back to whatever the original formula was, or whatever the original dog was. It always has to come back. But for me personally, to see people bash, at the end of the day, it's like looking at kids, man. These dogs is dogs. They not asking to be, mother and father, whether it's bulldog, French bulldog, whatever it is, to be bred together. They didn't ask to be here. So why the fuck do you bash the hell out of a damn dog that has no control of what the fuck he is?
Yeah, I feel like people that anytime you spend time, I used to be guilty of it also. Anytime you spend time on shit that you don't like, you inevitably end up your energy gets switched to that direction, almost in that direction, just because you're spending time. Anytime you're spending time thinking about it or talking about it, that's where the energy gets. That's where it goes, So if you're talking about and thinking about negative shit and bashing and hating, like your energy is going to turn into a negative energy. So I just try to focus on what I'm doing lately and try to learn as much as I can. I've read the exotic standard from IBR and USBR or BRC. I'm sorry, and I get the dog they're trying to create. I think some people are getting close to it. I think a lot of people are. I see some videos from the ABR show. I think a lot of people are still pretty far off. A lot of them look like overdone shorty bulls, but I see a lot of people that are getting close to what the standard's starting to call for. So it'll be interesting to see where they go in the next couple of years. I know the Paris show. I seen footage from that Paris show. That they had over there, and it was a huge international event too. So it's not like it's just in Cali or it's just in Texas. It's.
Oh, I seen the videos from the one that was in North Carolina. It was they shows, like I said, I don't know what it is about these exotic shows, but it's the same atmosphere that these ABKC shows used to have.
Well, they got guys walking around throwing stacks of ones into the crowd and shit. It'll be interesting to see how long those kind of numbers stay like that, because anything that's brand new is going to get a kind of a surge of new people that are checking it out, So
the one thing I can say is, and it's the thing about the show, the thing that I'm trying to get point out, and not saying what's right or wrong, whatever it is more of just the show atmosphere. It's just the show atmosphere is just, for me, is not there. It's not as exciting. It's a long, drawn out day. And maybe if it was like I was showing dogs all day, but even I see those people, they seem like they damn stressed out.
Those people look like they just went through a training camp.
Yeah, they basically running back and forth towards crates and grabbing dogs and in and out, and then it's just like, okay. And then you look at like dogs and you're trying to figure out, okay, that's a champion, that's a grand champion. Wow, how? And then you realize, like I said, it gets back to you pick and choose what shows you want to go to, and then you got this is a 4-show event, and it's just so easy to accomplish a title these days, and people are thriving off that so-called quote-unquote title. I got X, Y, and Z. I have so many champions and grand champions and this, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, the quality of dogs is not, like, to be honest with you, I see more impressive dogs at ABR shows than I see at ABKC shows. I seen one of the best dogs I've ever seen was a tri-colored dog, and I asked the guy, what the hell is that dog off of? I was in Dallas. And he was like, oh, he goes back to some DAC stuff and some other stuff. I said, that's a very impressive dog right there. But I go to ABKC show and I'm trying to figure out, the muzzles are getting longer and we losing bone and we're so focused on the gait, how quick can the dog move? I'm like, where's the mass? Where's the chest spread? Where's the muzzle? Like, where's it at? And I don't know. It's amazing to me how we regress. We went backwards from what the dogs used to be.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I think the majority of what you see there is mediocre stuff, But I also think the top tier dogs, the top echelon dogs that are in the building each time are quality dogs for the most part. Like the top tens, the nationals winners, they're quality dogs. So I think it's like a give and take almost. It's like, what's next? Like, what's the next step? How do you get away from that?
I'm gonna ask you this question: do you think there's dogs that's in the past that hands down will come in and sweep a lot of these shows today?
It's hard. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think there's certain dogs that could compete, in any era for sure. But it's hard to say this dog would come and compete. Like, there's probably not too many dogs that could compete against the top 5 dogs right now from the past. I mean, like Grand Champion Stacks, he could probably compete in this era. I mean, like if you put, I'm talking about in the show ring anyway. You know what I mean? If you put Thug in the show ring in his prime, he's probably going to be able to compete in different eras. Like I've seen some sons that come off a Blade that were absolute horses, man, absolute gorillas. And then we're talking 5-6 years ago, and we're talking gorillas with huge rears and huge bones and huge barrel chests like they're supposed to have. I don't see too many dogs like that anymore, no doubt about it.
I look back at dogs like, let me get a good example. Like Thug. Thug was a dog that you realized if he was in the ring, it was like, shit. Come on, man. Like, you got to bring your A game.
Right.
He was a beautiful dog. He was trained to a T. Even Lil Thug, he was like, you see dogs like that. You see dogs like,
but also dogs like that, like Thug and Little Thug. That's not a dog where, like you're saying, that's a show outside the show. Like, people aren't driving 6 hours to see those dogs.
But as a show dog, I was always impressed with him because he still for what he was. He still had mass. He was still
right.
He was a nice dog. There's dogs. There's some good dogs there that's not like out there today. But like Mufasa, I like Mufasa. I like bigger dogs. I like Mufasa. He's a nice dog. I have to say, Oscar and what he's still doing out there with Blue Pride, he's still making nice dogs.
For sure. No doubt about it.
Still making nice dogs. I would say Pratt Spitz, he's still making nice dogs. Like, he's still making nice dogs. But there's some stuff out there today that's just like, when they're like, oh, he's this, he's that, and I'm just like, okay, all right. And then it's just hard now. You see so many new faces. That's the most impressive thing, is so many new faces. And you overhear these conversations about, this and that, and I'm just like, okay. Like, I remember after the national championship game versus USC, I went to Dave's house, and I remember seeing like Sasquatch and all the dogs. I remember seeing P. Diddy. I remember seeing PD. I remember seeing all these dogs. I remember seeing
PD Wheatstrong. PD Wheatstrong.
I remember seeing what's name as a puppy. The Remy line male that had one blue eye. What was his name?
Mr. Biggs.
One blue. No, it was a Remy line male. What was his name? I can't think of his name. He had this one male at his house. He was a puppy. He had one. I remember seeing they said he was like an F1. He was something. It was so many dogs I remember seeing over there, like Paddington. I seen all these dogs at Dave's house, and these are like dogs that
What
we
year
put
is
to
this?
Dave.
Hit me with a year.
This was won a national championship in 2006, so it was 2006, the summer of 2006.
2006, over a decade ago.
Exactly. I remember seeing all these dogs. I remember seeing I remember when Rizzy was sold to Memo at my shows. Double SS. I remember they sold him to Cruz. I remember seeing Rizzy as a little puppy. Like all these dogs. I remember I had a dog named Mowgli. I don't know if anybody remember Armani, Razor Edge Pit Stop Armani. I had a couple of dogs that was off him, a guy named Byron that lived in Houston. That's all, everything was off Armani. Some old school stuff. The dog, if anybody know who Armani is, if you look at Lil Bow Wow when he's wearing the Cleveland Browns jersey, in this first album ever, when he was like playing the movie like Mike, the dog on the front of that cover, that's Armani. That was one of the first, that dog, I remember he died, he was like 16, 17 years old. I remember him being in Houston. I had a couple of dogs that was off of him.
See, and most of the people that listen to the show are not people that are going to remember who the fuck we're even talking. I mean, most of them are going to know who Little Rizzy is, obviously, because he's a legend. But Armani and most of them, probably even Blade and a lot of these names, a lot of the people that listen aren't going to know them.
Like Daz, when these people, when what's his name out there in Kentucky used to bring him out to shows. He was an older dog at the time, but they used to bring him out. Kai. I remember I was about to get a dog off of Kai, bred to this Remy line female here in Austin, when Nick from South Coast Kennels used to own Kai. Like, there's all these dogs that, like, people don't remember, don't even know. They just look on their pedigree and see these dogs. And a lot of people are actually older than me and still don't know who these dogs are or seen these dogs. And they just knew, like, they just bought a dog, feel like I'm going to jump in there, show dogs, breed dogs, and I remember being in college, and all I used to do is sit there and look at pedigrees and study pedigrees all day long to know what dog was off of what, who was off of what, who was related, who was cousins. And I'm not going to name a name. A guy got famous. And if somebody can tell me this, I promise. A guy got famous. He bred the same male as his stud. He bred the same stud to all the females out of the same litter. It made different dogs out of the same litter. And everybody thought because this female was so-called off of this male he also had, everybody tried to buy all the females off this other stud that he had, not realizing if you'd have looked at the pedigree, he did one breeding, bred the same male to every female in that litter, and had all these nice dogs. And he started getting rich quick because everybody thought that supposedly all you had to do was buy a stud off this. Never looked at the pedigree that the female's father was bred to a outcross that had nothing to do with Razor's Edge. And that's more likely where all the bone and the mass and everything was coming from. And I did the same thing and got the same results when I looked at the bottom half of the pedigree.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man. That's like probably 5 years before 90% of the listeners. I mean, even for me, I mean, like I said, I come in 2009, 2010. You're talking about 3-4 years before I came in. So that's a pretty good resume in dogs. I mean, you're supposed to be studying a fucking playbook in college or some sort of test in college, and you're studying pedigrees.
Man, literally sat in the back with a laptop and just went through like everybody in the Elite Edge. I went through all of their websites, went through all of their dogs, and went through all their pedigrees. And I started figuring out who was off of what, who was related to what, and who had what dog and what kennel. I remember Chris from AAO. He met me, and he was cool as hell. I remember we was in Atlanta. He meets me and says, "Hey, you're Griffin, the one that plays football." I'm like, "Yeah, you're Chris. You're the one that owns this dog, this dog, this dog, this dog, this dog, this dog is off." I remember we had a whole conversation for like 2 hours. I don't know. I guess he was surprised or whatever. He hit me up one day and was like, "Yo, I want to send you a dog, man." That might have been the most impressive conversation I ever had with somebody. for somebody to know every one of my dogs, every one of his pedigrees, that I want to send you something to go with your dog Blade so you can produce something nice.
What did
And
he send you?
He sent me this female named Chrissy. Unfortunately, when I bred her the Blade, and she had 10 puppies, but it messed up all her inside. She ended up passing away during birth, giving birth to her puppies. I went and got her a C-section, but everything was all messed up. But
right.
it was just, I mean, that was just knowing that, having that conversation, able to have a real conversation to explain every dog, why I told him why I felt like he was doing, what breeding that he was doing, and what he was looking for. Who else did a similar breeding and got the same results? And he was like totally surprised, like, how in the hell did I figure all that out?
And it's just crazy to me, like, you know, when you were a Longhorn. I mean, I remember watching, you know, the national championship game.
Yep.
You know, and just to know that you were probably the night before the championship game in the hotel room, sitting there looking at Kai's pedigree, looking at Cairo's pedigree, talking about Petey Wheatstrong and all this other stuff, and having conversations with Chris Mayo. That blows my fucking mind.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's just how, I mean, it was just something like, I always had a fascination for dogs, always. My dad had the same thing when he was growing up. My dad bred German Shepherds when he was growing up. And that's just something I always had. I got my first 2 dogs and bred them. I remember one day I sold 7 puppies for $500 each. They were ADVA dogs. Took that $3,500, went to Byron and bought me my first UKC dog that was off Armani. Like, and then from that point on, I was always hustling, trying to get another way to make, you know, to get more dogs and things. And I used to run around with John and Lindsay from Texas Made Kennels.
Yep.
And back when I was 18, that's when I met Benny. And from that point, Benny Mitchell from Throw Pitch. And from that point on, me and Benny's been like a brother to me. And then from that point on, I met JC, who was out like, his kids call me uncle. My nephew just committed to play football in college. I mean, I've been helping them out since they was younger. And then from that point, I met Carlos, who was an EE manager. Jose, that used to do all the breeding with Rizzy and produced Mr. Pink and all that. I went to his, I seen all the dogs at his house. And I just, from that point on, I was always, like, I went to Oscar's house. I went to Pratt's Pits. I remember playing in a game versus San Diego Chargers my rookie year. We had to play the San Diego Chargers in a playoff game. I remember I went to Pratt's Pitts house. That's when I seen King Kamali. That's when I seen Nemesis. Nemesis might have been the most impressive dog I ever seen, just the fact that he has so much confidence. When he walked out the kennel, it was like, just hold the leash. He's going to pose on his own. I remember even with the whole Miyagi stuff, I remember going to Juan's house with Kingpin Line. Stopped at his house, and I seen all his dogs. I seen Dragonfly. I seen G2. I seen all these dogs. I remember seeing Goliath back in the day before they sold him to Mexico, before, you know, Gotti and all that. I mean, I seen all these dogs with my own eyes. I put my hands on all these dogs.
Right.
I remember one of my good friends, Mike from Knockout Pitch. He was part of one of the most impressive dogs he had. He had a dog named Bones. I love Bones to death. I remember seeing Rockzilla, Tonka, all these dogs that everybody seen. I put my hands on them. I held them. I pet them. I took pictures with them. I did all that.
Right. If you could say who was the most, I mean, obviously you just said Nemesis as far as confidence. Who was the dog that you were like, when you seen him, and who was the dog you were most disappointed with, if you want to talk about that, and who was the dog you were most impressed with?
Most impressed with, there was a dog. It was Paco's little mate's sister, Sugar Mama, was bred to Nemesis to create this dog named Bones. I love Bones to death. I love that dog. I talked to Mike recently, and Mike said he still has some semen that was off of Bones. I was like, damn, right now I just don't have nothing to breed that dog to. But that was probably the most impressive dog ever. He was off of Paco's little mate's sister, Sugar Mama, that owned by Mike, and he bred that dog to Nemesis. One of the dogs that I was least who disappointed me, I don't know, not really actually like disappointed me, there's a different look for everybody. So it's not like there was a disappointment because, again, like I told you, I like bigger dogs. I like dogs that are 85, 90, 95 pounds. I like to know that I'm holding something on the other end of the leash. Like I don't know if you remember back in the day, they had the little dog named Wizard that was off of Excalibur. The little dog Wizard. What was his name? He used to own him. Moved out to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I think I remember exactly who Wizard is.
Little pocket dog named Wizard. He was off. I think his name was Danny, if I'm not mistaken, that owned him. But he lived out in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I remember I sold him a dog off a Blade bred to my Rizzy daughter. A little female, and I think Guy that lives in Florida ended up getting her. I'm not for sure, but Wizard was a nice little dog, but he was just a little dog to me. He just wasn't my cup of tea. So, I'm not saying he was the least, he wasn't that impressive. It was just more of he just wasn't my type of dog. Right. A lot of people was in love with Paco. A lot of people was in love with like Lil Ro and all that. They just wasn't, Now there was dogs they created that I liked, but they just wasn't for me. I remember seeing Denzel and what was his little mate brother? I think his little mate brother was Rome, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Brundle male. I remember seeing both of them together.
Yeah, Rome.
Ohio.
Yeah, Rome.
I remember seeing both of them. I think they both might have been 6, 7, maybe 8 months. We was in Ohio. I liked Rome better than Denzel, but Rome was owned by some Spanish cats, and I'm not mistaken, he had like a little kink tail or something like that. But I liked him better. He was more overly done, but they were still small dogs. So, right. They just wasn't my cup of tea. So, nothing against them. They just wasn't for me. So, everybody, love what they like. Everybody got, their cup of tea. Even when you look at exotics, people love exotics. Some people don't. Some people like a good quality show dog. Some people like a dog that's a show of itself, that's still a fully functioning American bully.
No doubt about it. And so, whatever side of it you go on, there's people that just have dogs because they like riding dick, So it's hard to judge it's hard to lump everybody into one category because there's some people that genuinely love little bulldoggy, flashy colored looking dogs,
What's your boy? I've never seen him in person, but I think what's your boy, the big one, the all white hair blue, the big boy you got?
Mega Millions.
Exact. Now see, that's my cup of tea. Like I see that big ass mother, I like that. That's a dog that right. I want to go around all my little NFL teammates and buddies, and I want them to be like, that boy Griffin, they got this big-ass dog over there. I'm scared to shit him. Like, I like that. That's what I like. I had Blade. Right. Everybody, I remember Joey Porter coming to my house. Joey Porter, nobody knows he's the one that they suspended for a game, Pittsburgh Steelers coach right now. He was a former player, Pro Bowl, everything else. I remember him coming to my house one day. And we were about to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And my teammate, Chris Holt, they played together in Pittsburgh. Chris Holt told Joey, I know you like pit bulls. And I know all the dogs you got at your house. You think that. He go down there by Griff house, whistle 3 times and say, Blade. Watch that motherfucker come around the corner. Blade came around the corner. Joey Porter knocked on my door and said, how much you want for that dog right there? I said, bro, he ain't for sale. He said, nah, real talk. How much you want for that dog right there? I ain't never seen shit that look like that. But I like that. Everybody used to come to my house like, hey.
Traffic stoppers, man.
Go in the back and grab Blade real quick. Everybody used to come to my house. I have people that just, hey, Mr. Griffin, can you bring out Blade? I told all my friends that's the biggest dog we ever seen. So, that's just what I like. It was a big dog that when I brought him out, everybody's like, look at the head on that big-ass dog. Look how big he is. Look at the bone. Yep. Look at the muscle. Look at that dog.
Yeah, Mega's the first dog that people see when they walk to the back where the kennels are. He's the first motherfucker you notice. He looks like a white-headed gorilla sitting in the back of the kennel looking at you. So you're 100% right. There's nothing that stops people in their tracks more than a 100-pound dog with a big square ass head,
But it gotta be proportional. It can't just be a dog that got no chest, real tall. I don't like all that. I don't
Right.
like somebody to just tell me it's a bit. I'm gonna tell you another impressive dog. I don't know if you ever seen him. There was a dog named Kanye the Bull. A cat out in Alabama used to own this dog. This dog had the biggest damn head. I think he went back to that Muggleston blood stuff. But I remember this big son of a bitch.
I think he was off of Corrupt too, right? He was off of Corrupt to some Muggleson stuff.
He wasn't off. He might his bottom half might have went to, but I know his dad was freak. I can't remember his name. His dad actually just passed away out here in Austin. But anyways, I remember that dog as a puppy, and I remember the dude offered me. I'm like, nah. He just wasn't my cup of tea as a puppy. He's like, I'm telling you, when he gets older, he was off Magoo. He's like, I promise you, when he gets older, you're gonna be surprised. So I remember the dude say, hey, Paul back in Austin said he offered his dog to you, and you said he wasn't your cup of tea. I said, ain't nobody offered that damn dog to me. He's like, no, that's that dog. So he shows me the puppy picture, and I said, that show is him. He was like, I guess you missed out. But then it was funny because he was big enough to ride the damn dog himself, because he wasn't a big dude, he was a little dude. So I said, you better hope you hold on to that damn dog. But, I mean, again, everybody has their own cup of tea. I mean, Benny had a dog named Willie Esco.
Oh, yeah, I seen Willie before. That's a monster, too.
Willie had big head, like a 26-inch head.
Yeah.
He bone, everything. But, I mean, there was dogs I like bigger dogs. But like I said, everybody likes certain stuff. I mean, I used to own Major. He was a nice, put-together dog that Anthony has right now. I loved him. He was off Miyagi. I remember I never told nobody. I took him to a dog show. He won the whole show down in Tallahassee, Florida. At the end of the show, everybody's like, who is he really off of? I said, oh, he's off Miyagi. He's little mates to, what's his name's dog? Pops. He's little mates to his dog out there. After that, shit, Major was done. It was done for. It wasn't no point to bring him out no more. Because everybody was like, oh, he's off Miyagi. He's off Miyagi. I'm like, judge the dog for the dog. Like, what you judging for who his dad is? But, I mean, it's, different dogs, cup of tea. I had a dog named Mowgli that was all Corrupt, bred to my Rizzy female. Old school blood. But he was 98 pounds. I placed him at one of my friend's house. But I liked him. He was an overdone dog. He was an extreme grand champion. But, I mean, it's dogs that I like that's for my cup of tea. I like a lot of mass, a lot of bone, but a dog that's still proportional that can move around for a big dog.
And you like a lot of different bull breeds. I know you have you've been breeding shorty bulls for a long time. I know you have English bulldogs. You have a Frenchie as well.
No, I don't have no Frenchies. Benny does all that Frenchie. I really can't fool the Frenchies. Frenchies is a whole different avenue that Frenchies, like a shorty bull, you can still get bone in the mass on a little dog. It still look cool. A English bulldog, you still get the bone in the mass.
Right.
A French bulldog, I just can't get past. I feel like a shorty bull is close enough to a French bulldog I'm gonna get. Like that's the closest I'm gonna get.
Yeah, and like a lot of your shorty bulls are massive, overdone shorty bulls too. So you can definitely see that the style that you like, that heavy proportion, overdone almost proportion look is something that you're looking for in whatever breed you have.
Oh, definitely, always. Like I like to bring, that's just to me. It just looks better. I like a dog that's just when you look at him, you just like, what the hell is that? Like you just can't get past the fact that the dog got muscles, the dog has girth, has size. He look like people say all the time about my shorty bulls. They look like little midgets. Like they little midgets on steroids. And I like that. My English bulldog I got, my main stud is Scooby. He's 72 pounds, but the most athletic bulldog. And I live here in Texas. My bulldogs stay outside all year long. They don't have no problem, no nothing.
If you don't know, motherfuckers listening, if you don't know, it's hot as a bitch in Texas all the time.
Exactly. My dogs stay outside year long. I have people all the time say, I don't get how your dogs can manage to stay outside all year long. I say, shit, I start them as puppies.
acclimate them. That's all. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
You keep them at a healthy weight that they can move around and not be fat overdone, and they're not crated up and not used to be moving around. You work them, you move them around, let them run, play, and then the heat is not an issue. I mean, they know what to do. I put a little swimming pool out there with water. They know if it gets a little too hot, go get a little wet. But they stay outside year long. No issues, no health problems. They good.
I have dogs outside all year long too. In Kansas, I got a pretty unique environment because in the wintertime it gets bitter cold, and in the summertime it gets fucking hot. Yeah. So they even on a yearly basis they acclimate themselves to the cold and to the heat, and obviously we exercise and we're out every morning doing shit. In the wintertime we're out, a couple times a day doing shit, but they acclimate so fast, and I feel like people don't give their dogs enough credit, man. Like, these dogs are survivors. These dogs are, built to be able to adapt to their environment. So a little bit of heat's not going to hurt them as long as you acclimate them the right way.
I think at the end of the day, they're animals, and animals know how to acclimate and they know how to adapt to their environment. And as long as you help them through that process, it doesn't mean you're trying to, beef them up at the same time. You got to keep them acclimated. You got to.
Oh, right. There's limitations for sure.
Yeah, there's limitations what you can do. And again, I think it keeps you with a healthier dog. Like I said, my first dog that I got is still alive today. I bought him when I was 18 years old. He's still running around and hanging out, like running with my kids. Like there's nothing.
That's amazing.
They get on the four-wheelers, he's right behind them running, chasing them.
That's amazing. So, now there is certain parts like Phoenix or Vegas. I don't recommend having shit outside all year without some misters and stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you got it. I mean, again, you got trees and stuff. Areas they can get cool. Like, I mean, my dogs on the side of my house, they dig. It's like a bunch of rocks and like dirt. So of course they know when it gets the hottest point of the day, go to the side of the house and lay right there where the dirt and everything is a lot cooler, or get in the pool or whatever. They do the things appropriate, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, they know how to adapt and acclimate themselves to the situation. At the same time, you're not being like, oh my God, it's too hot. The dogs go outside for 5 minutes, and you worrying about, you rushing to the dang vet trying to save the dog because he's about to have a heat stroke.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the problems happen is people that, they have their dogs in the air conditioning all year, and then they take them outside for 35 minutes, and that dog's not used to having any kind of heat hit its lungs at all.
But you know what? You see it at dog shows, though. The dogs that get to the shows and that be passing away, dying at dog shows, and you're like, how did this dog die? It's a covered area, whatever. It might not be as cool as it is inside someone's house, but the dog is just. And I think it also helps with different noises. Your dog hears cars driving by. Your dog hears birds and different noises and here and there. I think it just helps them when they go to a dog show. They're used to hearing a lot of different stuff. Compared to when people are like, oh, hey, the music's too loud. My dog's not used to that. And you're like, what? Did you not socialize your dog? Like, what do you do? Like, sometimes they got fucking full Vegas style DJs in that motherfucker playing rave music, bro. I understand that, but then I got dogs that walk through the airport and I drop their leash and we keep it moving. They not tripping.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. I mean, socialization definitely is a huge thing.
My dog, Lil G, the dog stayed with him up. He went to Minnesota with me. Every time we flew, he flew on the plane with me. He just like, everybody does the whole so-called, what is it? The mom was emotional support dog. I just got it through the team. Everybody do these, their, whatever it is, dog, whatever they do, the little red vest or whatever. But people sitting there like, oh, I hope my dog don't do nothing crazy. Like, Lil G literally walks on the plane. I tell him to go underneath the seat, sits under the seat. We get off the plane. I grab my luggage. I don't hold no leash, no nothing. We just start walking. And he doesn't look at nobody, don't go to no other dogs, don't do nothing. He's just cool with everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My dog, Scooby, We walk all the way down to my daughter's school, go pick her up, no leash, no nothing, get on four-wheelers, we riding through the whole neighborhood. And I live in a regular neighborhood, not just the country. Like, I'm in a regular city neighborhood.
Right.
And he has no issues, no problems with nothing. So
Are you
I
still
think
in Nashville?
No, I'm back in Texas now. I sold my house in Nashville.
Okay,
In
so
Nashville, I had more. Now I'm in a regular city. Like, my fence is connected to the fence next door.
yeah, that's what I
common
thought,
fence.
because I thought that when you were in Nashville, you had a big open, like a huge
I had a big old backyard.
Yeah.
Now my dogs are like literally in, like, I'm not in a gated community. It's literally a regular neighborhood. Public go by all day. Like, the dogs see a lot more now than they did when they was in Nashville, when I was in a gated
Right.
10 houses in my subdivision on an acre lot.
What do
Like,
you, as far as dogs right now, what do you have going on? Like, are you have litters this year? What do you have, breedings? I mean, you planning to hit any shows this year?
I did a breeding with Cassius. They actually did two. Well, let me see. The one breeding.
We're talking about shorty bulls.
Shorty bulls. I did a breeding with Cassius. That one didn't take. I did another breeding with who else did I breed? I did the repeat that produced Sasha. If you look on Jamie's website or Jamie's Facebook, Sasha was Lil G and Roxy. I repeated that one. That one didn't take. Well, I caught her at the end, but we redid that one. That didn't take. So those two breeds didn't take. I got a bulldog breed that I'm about to do soon.
So your luck is fucking just as bad as mine, bro.
No, it was pretty much just some things happened between me and somebody, and I don't know how he felt a certain way that, you know, I was buying. He had 18 dogs, and I'm paying for all his dog food, and he felt like I owed him more than what I was doing, and he was really taking care of 3 dogs, and they were all shorty bulls, and you know, it doesn't cost that much money to feed 3 shorty bulls, but
right, they're 30 pound dogs.
Exactly. He had 18 American bullies. Each of them was probably 60, 75 pounds each. So I'm feeding all his dogs, paying the water bill, built the whole kennel. Me and him had a situation. So at the time, I ended up moving the dogs to Jamie's, and she was bred at the time, and maybe she just got a little stressed out with the whole moving things of that nature, whatnot. But I mean, I really only do like 1 breeding, maybe 2 a year. So I mean, I'm about to do this bulldog breeding. As soon as she come in, I was waiting for her to hit 2 years old, which she just did. And then really right now, my American bullies and stuff that I had, I kind of placed all of them out. And I'm just, the last one that I had, I gave to this guy that we had this falling out. I was like, listen, you got it. You take this dog right here. She's never been bred before, but I guarantee she's going to help you out in the long run. She was a corrupt granddaughter, bred back to she went back to some Gotti line, some whatchamacallit, Gotti line stuff. Real nice female. I gave it to her. So right now, I'm just looking. I haven't quite found the dogs I like. And I'm also in the process of looking for some land, building me a house here in Texas. And I want to be able to build my whole kennel setup and just have everything here on my own property. So I'm in the process of transitioning right now. I mean, I've been on Facebook every day and looking at different kennel websites here and there, seeing what I like, what I don't like, and I'm looking right now. If something jumps out, I'm gonna jump on it right now. But right now, just nothing has jumped out at me that I really, really like. I mean, I see some stuff you do. I like Mistro. I like that breeding you did when you did that breeding. Those puppies came out real nice. So, you know, of course, I pay attention to what you got going on. I'm looking at some shorty bulls. The English bulldogs, I kind of stick with what I got. You know, I got a lilac, I got a chocolate, I got a carrier. They all go back to my male Scooby. Scooby's a carrier, so every time I breed him to a dog that is a carrier or a dog of color, he's going to produce every color. So I love with having that, but I also like what he is. He's not those traditional color bulldogs that lack the general look of an English bulldog. So that's what I like most about him. But, I mean, I'm still right now in the process just transitioning. Just graduated from college, went back, got my degree.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, on top of all this NFL hoopla that's going on, I'm going to ask about that also. But on top of all that, on top of breeding, on top of being a dad, on top of being a new husband. You're now you just graduated from college.
Yep.
Why was that important? Why was that so important for you
Um,
to get that diploma?
In my family, my mom, my dad are first generations of both their families of having, a college degree. Both of them was in the military, but they both ended up getting their degrees. Followed by my brother. I have a twin brother who got his degree. He does not like dogs, so we the exact opposite. He got his degree. My wife actually, she got her degree.
Which
Back.
most people actually, not to cut you off, but most people actually would remember your twin brother from the Texas college football days
Yeah.
also.
Exactly. So my wife had her degree, and I thought it was only appropriate for me to get mine, especially when I have two kids. Well, now I got three. We just had a newborn. She's 10 weeks today. So
Congratulations, man.
So I want those three to be, third generation. So I want to start something off, have them not have an excuse on why not to get a degree. So it all just worked itself out, and I'm just glad that me and my wife can both. I got married. It's about to be a year. Well, it's not June yet, but when it comes June, it'll be a year the following month. So I got 1 month left where we hit one whole year. A newborn baby, free agent, played 10 years. See, just got a college degree.
Now let's talk about the free agent.
A lot of.
Let's
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because the last. I mean, I talked to you. I don't know, probably a month before camp started, right? You were up here in Marysville.
I talked to you. No, I talked to you. Marysville was last year. I talked to you when you brought Mistro, when I seen him for the first time.
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Outside Atlanta, in Georgia. And that's when I was a free agent. I got put on IR. I was in Minnesota. I herniated a disc in my back, so I was on crutches for like 2 weeks. And they asked me to have surgery, and there was a question whether I needed surgery or not. I told them since I was on year 10, I'd rather just take my chances because I didn't want to miss year 10. Right. So I ended up taking my chances, signed with Carolina Panthers, played 13 games for them, and became a free agent. I mean, a lot has happened in the last year, but again, I can't complain. I played 10 damn years in the NFL. A lot of people don't even make it past 2-3 years, and God has blessed me. Don't even make the type of money that I've made over the last 10 years. So, I mean, I'm in a great situation to be financial wise. Married, don't have to want for anything. Really, just trying to figure out what's that next step. I have opportunities. People ask me to coach, and different things of that nature. But right now, it's just I'm a father first, and I mean a lot of people don't understand when you're professional athletes, you really miss a lot of your kids' time. Like literally, this is the first year that I actually been to watch my son play football. This was the first year I got to watch him play, even though I was driving every weekend from Austin to Dallas, which is 200 miles there, 200 miles back. I was driving 400 miles round trip every weekend to go watch my son play football, to watch him play his first year, watching my daughter play soccer, watching my daughter play baseball, watching her play basketball. I mean, this is the first opportunity that I got to actually watch my kids, do something they did their entire time was watch me play, and they missed out on a lot of stuff. So, again, it's been a blessing for me just to be in the situation I'm in. I think it's just right now, if I don't play another down of football, I mean, I think it's just my time now to support my kids like my mother and my father did for me and my brother. So, again, I mean, it's just, roles are reversed. Now it's time for me to be a father first compared to play football and provide for them. I did that already. So now it's to support them and get them on the right track, because we all know this world today is not easy for the young ones that are coming up.
No, for sure. That's actually an another interesting topic. Like with all the new research with the head injuries and stuff, and the head trauma and stuff, and the effects of that long term for a lot of even fighters, football players, boxers. Is that something that you're gonna push your son to pursue a football let's past the high school career, I mean, something into college or even into the pros? Is that something that you'd want him to be doing?
Right now, I mean, he's not gonna play tackle football. If he can play football, but he's not gonna play tackle football until he's not allowed. He's not gonna play until that's the only opportunity to do. I mean, literally. I mean, I just know these coaches these days, man, and it's things that I got pushed to do when I was playing back when I was in Pop Warner and everything else. Like, that's not real coaching. And then you got a lot of these coaches these days that try to live their lives through these ads like that.
Right. And are some of these guys? Most of these guys aren't really coaches, right? Most of these guys are, the ex-high school football star. Oh, I think
they know everything. And
yeah.
That's just one thing. I mean, school. Main thing is school. I mean, I push my kids in school. That's the main thing. I'm up there, but that's my main making my kids, first thing is school. Like, you're going to study, you're going to do all this. That's what it is.
Because a lot of these guys that are coaching the Pee Wee Pop Warner, they're not really coaches, right? Most of these guys, they're the high school football star that didn't make it, and now they're the coach, right?
They volunteers, man.
Right.
They volunteer their time. That's all they is. A lot of them got kids. They want to be hands on with their kids, and I mean, you see a lot of parents. They try to live their lives with their kids too. That's just one thing I do not do. I watch my son and my daughter play, but I sit to the side. I don't say a word.
That's and that's interesting because all the shit. I mean, I played high school football too, and I just thinking about it I played for about 3 weeks until I realized how much crazy shit was going on. But we had to travel to my high school is so small. We had to travel to the school next to us and play for a rival school if we wanted to play football. So it was already hard enough trying to put on someone else's uniform, and then listening to people that I knew had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. So I was like, nah, this is for me. It wasn't a fit. I played basketball, but it's interesting because the things that go into the behind the scenes as far as pushing through injuries and maybe you should not push through the injury or mentally the little things that go on behind the scenes. I mean all that, so it's interesting to hear you're not be interested pushing your son that direction. That's interesting to me.
I mean, my parents didn't push me to play, so they just supported me. So I'm not gonna push my kids to play.
Right. I mean, that makes a lot more sense. Let them find their path and just be the support system behind them.
Yep.
So what do you have as far as right now, other than the free agent thing? I mean, that not being attached to the NFL at the moment opens you up to other opportunities. I see the new On It athlete campaign. On It is something that I've been following for a couple years now, as far as the products and the information they put out. Seems like a legit company.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually right here outside the gym right now. As soon as we get up, I'm gonna get my workout in. But it's just, I got a guy up here. He's a former. I played with his brother at Texas, and he played at Texas also. And he joined with them, and I just go up here and I train, and I like the facility. Great people up there. You just see the whole environment in this gym. Everybody comes there and busts their tail and try to get better. So it's a great gym. I like it. I'm glad that it's here in Austin compared to me having to go train in other places like I used to in the past. So it's local gym that I can train at and get the full benefits from it.
Yeah, and there's probably not a lot of places that a professional athlete can go and get pushed.
No, not at all. But I mean, the good is I trust him. I trust this trainer here. Again, he went to Texas. I played with his brother. He trained a lot of pro athletes that are in the league right now. So I mean, I trust him 100% because I mean, outside of being trained, I mean, our friendship is stronger than that. So
right.
It's somebody you can trust.
It's I mean, I've known you since 2010, maybe 2011, and when the Atlanta Underground shows. In 2011, I think was the first show, and every time that I've had an interaction with you, I've never seen you be anything but 100% real life. I've never seen you. You're always a down to earth guy. You're always, especially when you're talking about dogs to people. I think it's awesome that you've been into bull breeds for as long as you have, and you've seen the dogs that you have, and you have the experiences that you have, because people think that some of the struggles they have doing this are because, they don't make enough money, or they don't have the opportunities that, everyone struggles. I mean, whether you're Mike Griffin or whether you're nobody, everybody has the same, as far as breeding dogs, everybody runs into the same issues. Litters don't take, bitches get infections, dogs get sick, things happen no matter what level you're on. So I think it's good for people to hear all that.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we all into the same thing. But I mean, if you think this is of money, I don't know too many people that make a lot of money off these dogs.
Maybe zero.
I mean, you hear about people making money. I don't know. I'm the last person to worry about somebody else's bank account because they don't do nothing for me. But I mean, it's a hobby, and if you're not trying to make good dogs, then this is not for you. And that's the thing. If anybody,
it's got to be a passion. It's got to be a passion.
It got to be something that takes away the stress from everything else. It's not going to be something that takes the stress away from making you money. I mean, that's just not it. I mean, I never understood why people look at how much money they can make off these dogs, because it's a flooded market. Let's be honest. You go online and
especially in the United States, it's crazy flooded.
Yeah, you can look at your local newspapers, internet, Facebook. I mean, it's amazing you see these groups on Facebook and it's puppies for sale, and it's just like, Lord, I'm like, how do you separate yourself from everybody else? So, if you think this is money, nah, it's better off, as a passion and something that takes the stress away from other stuff. But I mean, again, that's just something I did. It was just another way of competition, breeding dogs for the best looking dog, to show the dog, whatever it is. People don't really. I give a lot of my dogs away. Like,
right. Well, I can imagine, like, you when you're in college, you're at Texas, you're not thinking about, you're not studying pedigrees every day because you think that you're gonna get rich someday off of making money. You're going to practice every fucking day because you think you're going to the NFL and that's gonna be your financial security.
You're 100% right, because at the end of the day, I look at and I talk to Chris about this all the time. I said, you can see the people who argue on Facebook 24/7. This is their main source of fucking income.
Yep, right.
Exactly. Ones who sit on Facebook all day and bitch and moan about a dog show, bitch and moan about what dogs off of what, bitch and moan about this and that or whatever. Lets me know that you're doing this shit throughout the day from 7, 8, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. all the way to 5. You ain't got no fucking job. This is your main source of income.
Right.
And this is your main source of income. Like I told somebody the other day, I hope these dogs that you keep arguing about come with a college fund, a 401k, Social Security or something. Because the last I looked, these dogs don't come with shit but a fucking headache.
You don't even get dental insurance, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see what's the game from arguing with somebody on Facebook. Just make nice dogs. If you believe in what you like and if you believe in what you got and what you like, stick to your plan. Do what you got to do and keep it moving. Like I never understood why somebody arguing about a damn dog. I've never figured that out.
No,
I never figured out why somebody worried about somebody else's pocket and how much money he got, what he sold the dog for. Did he really sell the dog? Who fucking cares? Because if I sold a dog for $100,000 between me and you, does it benefit you whether I did or not? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to still go to my house, you're going to go to your house, and I'm going to go to my family, you're going to go to your family, and it's going to be the same shit that happened yesterday.
Right,
so,
and I'm not going to see a fucking penny of that $100K. Either way. Hey,
whatever you do with your dog, Mistro or Mega, it don't matter. At the end of the day, you still got to feed that dog, and I ain't got to feed him. So why am I worried about it?
Right. I mean, I look at that with everything. Like, You know, you're other people's business, other people's dogs, other people's relations. Like I don't pay attention to other people's shit to the point where if you don't tag me on Facebook, I'm not gonna see what you're trying to get me to see. That's how much I don't pay attention to other people's shit.
I don't, for the sake of me, I don't get it. Like it's so much arguing and bickering and hatred and these topics that people come up with, and I just be like, what the fuck? Like,
I just think it's their own inadequacies manifesting, and that's the only outlet that they have to get it out.
I just laugh because I'm like, you just want it, like, because for me it's like this. You know, you get on Facebook and you know you got so many Facebook friends, and let's be honest, how many of them people are really your actual fucking friends?
Right.
So when you make a bullshit comment or whatever it is, and you start crying or bickering, and you put your business or you put your personal so-called business out there, my question is, how many of these damn people are really your damn friends giving you all this damn advice, and you just accepting or agreeing with it and every damn thing? I don't get the shit.
First of all, if you are not a successful person, why the fuck would I take advice from you anyway? If you haven't been successful breeding dogs, why would I take breeding advice from you? If you haven't been a successful investment banker, why the fuck would I take investment advice from you? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta, a lot of these people need to consider the source, I think, a lot of the times before they even, there's no sense in even arguing with these people. Their opinion doesn't matter. They have no fucking idea.
I dealt with that, like playing professional sports, and you probably see it all the time, and people always got comments, like, somebody tells me, oh my God, what's called ran you over, such and such shook the shit out of you, you missed the tackle on this play, and I just be like, so fucking what? At the end of the day, what did it do for you outside? What did it do for you, and what did it do for me?
Well, do they not realize that you sat down and watched that same fucking film probably 15 times to figure out how to stop that from happening?
Well, at the end of the day, my thing is this. I'm looking at you telling me that happened, and I'm looking at you like, you don't even, like, one, to brag about it or laugh about it, it's, number one, you didn't do it, so why are you riding somebody else's nuts? Right. Number two, you've never done it before in your life, so why are you still bragging about it? And number three, and I hate to go this route with you, and I never do this personally with people because I feel like it's going to really upset you, is I still got paid the same amount of money for that game whether I missed that tackle or I didn't. So I'm going to do my best to get better at what I did, but at the same time,
well, I mean, I feel like that's,
why are you like, I don't get it.
I don't feel like that's a negative thing to say, Mike, though, because that's your job. You know what I mean? You're out there doing your job.
But see, my thing is this: I never go at nobody like that. But it'd be like so much stuff that I can just sit there and I can say, and like, you know, because of course, any job you got, you mess up, you like, damn, I missed a tackle. That you know that, but then you want to throw somebody's face like, all right, cool. But now if I throw in your face, talk personally about your ass or something you did, then you be all upset and you don't see the same shit. But at the end of the day, like I tell people all the time, I let that shit, I see that shit under the rug. I keep it moving because at the end of the day, it ain't going to change shit in my life. It ain't. If it don't affect my kids, it don't affect my wife, it don't affect my house, roof over my head, nothing like that, keep that shit moving. Your opinions, your personal, and we not friends, it really don't even affect me.
Right. Or if I don't respect, like even if we're not friends, but you're an expert in your field, you have a resume, and I respect your opinion, maybe I'll consider what you're saying. You know.
But at the end of the day, like I said, it goes back to the dogs and everything else. Like, to each their own. Everybody gonna do what they want to do. Like, I ain't no expert by no means of anything. Like, I got opinions and everything else. Like I said, you asked me the question earlier. What dog, didn't impress you? It's not the dog didn't impress me. It just wasn't my cup of tea. You could like a Lamborghini, you could like a Ferrari. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's what you like. It goes with the exotics. It goes with the American Bullies. It goes with French Bulldogs. It goes with Shorty Bulls or whatever. It's your cup of tea. Whatever you you want to do. Put your passion towards it. Don't spend all the time, like we said earlier when you said, I was negative towards stuff. I felt like I had too much energy going. Like, it doesn't go nowhere. And I think as a community, as a bully breed community, that's our issue. We spend more time trying to see the next man fall than let's all stick together and let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Let's get back to having these big shows where everybody was there and somebody can go under one roof and see all the different types of bully breeds and ask questions and figure out what their cup of tea may be. Compared to, I got to find out, well, they got this ABR show and they got this UBR show and they got, ABKC over here and they got the Remy line over here. And it's like, shit, I got to go to so many different places.
Is RKC still going? Is that still a thing?
I don't even know. I just remember all these different damn registries, man. Every week there's a new one popping up.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think Fabian's might have switched it up already. I'm not sure on that.
I don't know, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just trying to figure out what you want to be a part of. You don't know because you got to go to so many different avenues to see all these different things.
Right.
Like to figure out what I want. And then you got from a newbie coming in, he's thrown off because he don't know if he want to go BBCR or he want to go ABKC or he want to go ABR because we all got the same damn breeds under the same damn registry.
Right. And with social media, how it is now, like you can have such a huge influence on the new people coming in just with a couple of social media marketing plans. You can put a couple of posts in place or a paid advertisement in place and really affect how the new people look at things as they're coming in. I think that's why another reason why the IBR, ABR, or whatever it is. Did they switch? Did they split in half, or it was the IBR? Now there's two of them, right?
I think it started out with ABR and now it's the IBR. Like I said, if I was a newbie coming in right now, I wouldn't know where to go.
No, and I think that's why a lot of the numbers at those shows are such huge numbers because they know how to market and how to grab that new community coming in.
At the same time, these ABR shows, these IBR shows, they don't have a show every weekend.
Yeah, no, that's a huge part of it. That is a huge part of it.
So everybody gets geared up to when's the next one. Let's all make it to that show.
And it's a party weekend. It's a vacation weekend. It's not like a normal mundane routine of everyday life like believe me, man, I'm pushing for less shows too, but I've been pushing for this shit for 2 years and nobody gives a fuck what I have to say. So,
it's just something as a community, and we want to consider ourselves a community. Because eventually it's all just going to die the fuck out. Like, that's just being honest. Unless we all get a grasp on what we want to do, then people going to still sell dogs. But these shows and everything else, like you said, how long are the ABR shows and IBR shows going to continue to be like that? And unless we're a community, we're going to get together and I feel like we'll profit more. We'll profit more if we all get together. If they want to look at it as a money thing. As long as we all separate, it ain't gonna. It's all over the place, and that's just.
So how many years? How many years do you think it? How many years do you think it's got if shit doesn't change right now?
See, I've been around 14, and I seen about. I give it as a whole because again, it's a lot of things going to happen. I think the exotic movement, it has to go back. As American Bully, I think that has to change. The quality of dogs have to get better. I think the exotic movement, the quality of dogs have to become more. It has to come back. They got there and then they just kept going.
Right.
So I feel like both movements have to get to a ground to have a actual standard. I think it's many newbie people that everybody's just following, jumping on bandwagons. It's going to take like somebody, these registries and stuff to really uphold their rules and regulations and everything else of their registry. And it's going to take a lot. So, but everything is just going every which direction. So I really look at it, I give it 2, maybe 3 years. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wow.
I ain't no expert. But 2 or 3 years, it's gonna have to be one way or another way, because I don't see where I don't like nothing against George. I speak to George every time I see him. But Miyagi going to Bolo, and now it's like all these other dogs, and I'm trying to figure out who's what's what. And eventually, for him, I think everybody catches up. And what I mean by that is, once you keep sending all these dogs to China and everywhere else overseas, they're not going to need dogs from the U.S. no more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something I'm super conscious of, because I have
all these dogs over there. Now they got everything over here. Once they got everything over here, then where do we go as a community?
Man, what do we need? What do we need you for? Now, I feel this. I have a huge demand right now in Europe and the UK and stuff for my stuff, and I'm really being selective about what goes. What gets sent over there, because I don't want that market to also be flooded with it.
Exactly, because once it's over there, it's over there.
Yeah, I just don't want to flood that market, and you flood this market, and you flood the Asian market, and you flood the African market, you flood the South American market. Then nobody's going to need dogs from us anymore.
Nobody's going to need shit from the U.S. no more. It's a wrap. So now as a community, like I say, the U.S. is one of the biggest fucking nations. So why are we not able to sell dogs in our own fucking market? Because we too fucking spread out.
Well, yeah, plus people are bargain shopping motherfuckers.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, if we can't stick together and build a market and say, us together, we have these type of dogs, these quality of dogs as a whole in the U.S. market, like, there's no reason why we can't sell dogs to the general population. We're selling dogs to breeders.
For sure. Yeah, that's something we've talked about a lot.
Our only market is breeders. So once we sell all our dogs to all breeders, what do? Like, you don't go sell the money to you don't go sell your product to the competition.
I mean, that's a super good point. We've talked about this quite a bit on the podcast. The amount of people that are just geared towards selling to other breeders is crazy. Like, the pet market hasn't even really been tapped into, because there's only a couple of kennels really focused on bringing in new pet clients.
I mean, for instance, I'm gonna give a prime example. So, like Jamie Blue River. It's amazing how other people do Blue River breedings. Because all they do is buy dogs. Everybody they buy so many dogs from Jamie. So you got Blue River this and Blue River that. And it's just like, so now you just sold your product to a different competitor. And now they're putting out puppies. And now you got to compete with your own market. But eventually, as breeders, as production, you got to start somehow, some way getting to the general public.
Yeah, I love seeing stuff go to pet homes,
Because you're never going to compete with the general public who just want a dog or two.
They just want a beautiful family member, man.
Exactly.
That's it.
But if I keep breeding and selling to breeders, now I got, so say I sell 2 dogs to this guy, and he got a male and a female. He want to breed and pair. Now, the same guy inquire about a puppy off my yard, and I'm selling for $2,000. He's selling for $1,000. He telling them it's the same stuff off his yard. So now I'm competing with the lowballing guy that I sold the dog to.
Yeah. That's exactly
So now
right.
so that's the market we in. So I could buy two dogs from George from 10,000 a piece. That's 20 grand. The next man, but now I got two dogs off George Yard. If I sell them for 5 grand each puppy for 5 grand a piece, thinking hypothetically, well shit, if I sell 4 puppies, I made my money back if I sold them all for 5 grand a piece. I didn't make my 20 grand back. But George is still trying to sell his dogs for 15 to 20 grand per puppy.
I definitely see what you're saying. Sometimes there's nothing like going to the source, but you definitely have to
You can't
compete
sell
with
a puppy
those.
off of this dog for no. Maybe we gonna run ourselves into a fucking hole. That's why I say 2 or 3 more years, we gonna be in a hole.
That's nuts, man. I mean, I can't say that I disagree, but I'm doing everything I can to prevent that shit, you know. And
I mean, I mean, you see it all the time. You see somebody else has. I mean, they're gonna run yourself in a hole. That's why I can respect Chris, who he does business and cash and stuff. He is a certain, and he's selective on who he breeds a dog to.
yep.
So you don't have a bunch of cashless puppies all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. And the majority of what goes out is quality stuff.
Exactly, but it's just some people just do business a certain way, but then again, that goes back to some people whose main source of income is the dog. So if their main source of income is the dog, they're gonna do what they can to sell dogs. So you got some people that's gonna ruin it for everybody else.
The good thing is, this isn't just some random asshole up here talking shit. This is a man that's been doing this at least 10 years as far as the American Bully goes, so he knows, he's seen it. He's seen the trends come and go, the tide ebb and flow a little bit, and I can't say that I disagree. But here at the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast, we are doing everything we can to get this shit back on the right track. I think the best thing for me to do is to educate people, Mike. And that's what the podcast is for. That's why I think it's so important for people to hear stories like this.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think people think logically like that. I mean, everybody thinking to the now. They're not thinking to the future. So, I mean, as a whole, we're going to have to, that's why I say as a whole, we got to stick together. We got to be together. Because if we not, we want to argue and bicker amongst each other, it don't matter. We're gonna end it ourselves anyway. So
no doubt about it.
And then you're gonna see a bunch of dogs when you look online or looking at dogs are in animal shelters and you know, people trying to get out because they don't know, you know, there's nowhere going with the dogs and stuff. I mean, you're gonna run yourself into a hole. So you got to be real selective when it comes to breeding. You gotta breed for the top quality, the best possible quality dogs. It's okay to have your own vision, but you gotta breed top quality dogs to compete with the next man. But you gotta stick together. We gotta stick together and stop putting the next man down and figure out how we can help each other out. Because that's how it used to be. When we used to go to shows, everybody talking to each other, talking about future breeders and what they think they should change, what they're looking for, and all that other stuff. That's how people used to do business and work together. That's what the Elite Edge was all about. We working together to sell dogs to the other people.
Right.
But everybody now is so, you know, trying to put the next man down, not looking for this may be an opportunity for me to better my stock or whatever it is. And if we don't do that, you're gonna dig yourself in a hole. And as a community, as a bully breed community, we about to dig ourselves in a hole anyway, because we all know that in every breed possible, English bulldogs, French bulldogs, the shorty bulls, the American bullies, we all divided amongst all the breeds. It don't matter what breed you take part in, we all divided.
I agree with that. There's a division in
There's a division
everything.
in every breed you decide that there's a division. And there's nobody ever to step up and be like, you know what, you just got a bunch of, you got a chief here, a chief there, and a bunch of Indians is just rolling with that person and maybe disagree, but still gonna ride it out with that person. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I give you 2, 3, maybe 4 years. I'd be curious to see where we out at as a community, but
For sure.
I don't know. Unless people got to start generating and find a different avenue instead of dealing with breeders and Facebook, and even on Facebook, you're only dealing with breeders. You're not dealing with nobody else. Only breeders.
Yeah, that's why it's important to have the business pages and stuff, and the pages where you can actually pay to promote and push to a new market. You know.
Exactly. Because again, like I said, the market is flooded, and then we're trying to flood a whole other market overseas. Once that market is flooded, what happens? You run yourself into a hole.
A lot of motherfuckers are gonna have to get a 9 to 5, Mike. That's that's what happens. A lot of these dudes. I mean, to be honest with you, this is one of the reasons why I'm expanding my horizons and getting into other stuff, and I know that it's not a sustainable thing. I plan on doing this for life. I plan on breeding dogs for life, but for me it's a passion. For me, building the ideal American bully is a fucking passion that I don't think is ever going to be something that goes away. So hey, where right now, if someone wants to get in contact with Mike Griffin or see what Mike Griffin's got going on, or see your dogs or anything about you, where can they go? Plug some links. Tell us where people need to go to find Mike Griffin at.
I mean, really, they can just go to my email. Like, I don't want to give my cell phone number out like that. But
yeah, don't be giving cell. Hey, motherfuckers will call you, bro. We got some crazy people listening to this show. They'll be calling your ass up.
I got people that call me asking me for crazy shit. Like, the one thing I can't stand when somebody asks me, like, like, I don't know. I can't tell you what your son is going to be when he get older with football. I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't. And that be the most impressive thing. Can you train my son? Can you do this? Can you do that? I can't tell you what he's going to be. I don't know what my son's going to be. He may match. I don't know. But if somebody wanted to really get a hold of me, you get on Facebook. It's my name, Michael Griffin. You can find me. It's a picture of myself. It's easy to get in contact with me. My email is longhorn.27@hotmail.com. Again, it's longhorn.27@hotmail.com. If you send me an email or something, want to ask me a question, put in the subject line, write my name, something to get my attention. Because, I get emails every day about crazy stuff or whatever. But, again, I be in shows and stuff. If you want to holler at me, talk to me one-on-one conversation, that's cool. I'm not one of those guys that you can't get, in contact with. I don't do the bodyguards, all that stuff. When I see these dog shows.
Nah, super approachable guy. Super approachable guy.
These guys be damn bodyguards, but anyways. Again.
No, super approachable guy. That's one of the things that I really respected about you from day one.
And if you're really, really trying to get a hold of me, there's people that that can get a hold of me at any time. Like Bully the Kid, Christopher Bennett, he can get a hold of me at any time. Benny Mitchell, he can get it. Benny can throw a pitch. He can get a hold of me at any time. Carlos Zarate, he can get a hold of me at any time. Like, these are guys that I talk to pretty much every day. We got like a real live brotherhood. Like, their kids call me uncle. My kids call them uncle. It's a real live, genuine friendship outside of dogs. It started out with dogs. We had a genuine interest and a common interest. And really it turned into a real big, real tight, close-knit friendship. But, those are the main avenues, again, to hold of me. And again, they can holler at you, Ty. You know how to get a hold of me. So, again, I appreciate this whole podcast or whatever, speak my mind or whatever. There's so much more that can be said. But, again, it's people going to have to really dig down and look at this whole hobby itself and realize, if you really want to get something out of this, it's going to be what you put into it, and it can't be negative what you put into it. It got to be all positive.
Yeah, just like anything, you want to be successful. I think.
Exactly. So the hard work, the motivation, like I said, I'm about to get ready to go get this workout right now. Like, I'm a free agent, but it ain't about what everybody see you doing. It's about what you do behind the scenes, and that's pretty much what I'm about to do. So, and
I know you and Bully have a couple of projects that you're working on also. So anytime you want to you guys have anything to announce or you want to come on the show, it's an open invite, man. You're welcome here anytime you want to come on, anytime you want to chop it up. I appreciate you coming on the show. Like I said, I know your time is valuable, so I appreciate you taking time out to talk to us, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, Mike.
All right, I'll let you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? It's Mike Griffin. Now, I know the show is going to be published on a Thursday this week. It's going to be a week late. I get it. The reason is just a scheduling thing with Mike. But it's fucking Mike Griffin. What do you want me to do? He says, hey, I'll come on. We'll wait a couple days. I'll get you on, Mike. Thank you, sir. Shout out to everybody that's listening. As you know, the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast is brought to you by Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. Any and all episodes of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast can be found on the blog page of Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. The menu tab is in the top right-hand corner. Hit the blog tab on the menu drop down. Go to the blog page. Scroll down. The newest episode will be at the top of the page. You can scroll all the way down the page to episode number 1. If you want to watch video content, stay right on the home page. You'll be able to see every video that the Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV YouTube channel has to offer. Also, now sometimes sometimes you're going to hear dog noises in the background of the podcast. As you know, I'm a dog man. I have dogs in the house. I have puppies. I have outside dogs. They bark. They snore. They're dogs. They make noise. So if that's not something that you can handle, maybe don't listen. Maybe spend your time listening to something else. The Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast is also brought to you by the Bully Embassy. If you would like to... Jesus Christ, I can't talk right now. I'm trying to run some ads, can't even talk. The Bully Embassy is an elite group of breeders, owners, handlers, and judges from around the world. We're one of the most prestigious groups in the bull breed community. You can find us at your next bully show or bull breed event. Just look for the Bully Embassy tent, or look us up on Facebook at The Bully Embassy, or check out thebullyembassy.com. Now, any t-shirt sponsors, t-shirt companies looking to sponsor the show, please email realtylumley@gmail.com. That's realtylumley@gmail.com. As I said before, if you want to see more info, if you want to see social media links, if you want to get on the Instagram, you want to hit the Facebook page, just hit Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. Who has a better fucking life than me? Seriously, I just had a conversation with two-time NFL Pro Bowler Mike Griffin about his history in dogs. I mean, it blows my mind. It's surreal shit. I just got back from Holland, from a week in Holland. Again, dropping off a puppy. Another double L kennel production in the UK. I took about 2,600 pictures while I was in Holland. I'm almost through editing them all. You'll see them on the Bull-NA-ChinaShop page very soon. Also on my personal page, Ty Lumley.
You want to advertise for somebody?
I mean,
I'm taking applications.
who has a better life?
It's pretty dope.
blessed, man. I love your fucking faces. I love every single one of your non-existent faces. No, on a serious note, I appreciate everything. I appreciate the support, the feedback, the messages I've been getting lately, the questions, the requests. We're going to be flying to Australia, do some Bull-NA-ChinaShop shit. Surreal, man. I'm blessed. See you fucks next week.